I got another package. So let's open it without showing my address. Not that anyone would really care or do anything, but it's kind of like, I don't know, seems like tempting fate to kind of just show your address publicly. So I saw this on, as I said many times, one of the Facebook CD trading groups I'm on, and been pretty lively or busy, those trading groups recently. One in particular, like a lot of stuff being put up and a lot of quick responses. It's almost like I don't know, it's like just in general, the CD buying is becoming more common or popular. Secondhand CD buying online, it seems. Like someone will put up like I've said this before, they put up, they take a photo of the CDs and describe them, and then, you go through and you either say which ones you want or you direct message them. And a lot of times within, a couple of minutes, they're already gone. So it's like people are sitting on there waiting for them. And it's not that big of a group. Anyway, some guy put some things up. This was actually, I was quite lucky. Well, no, I don't know if lucky is the right word. Because I'm not on Facebook all the time. I actually don't use Facebook much. I actually don't use Facebook much at all. I don't like Facebook. It's like, I think it's kind of the worst of all the social medias because of the way that your feed is designed. It just shows you a whole lot of stuff you don't want to see. So when I do look, I'm usually a few days behind. So I was scrolling through the CD offerings of the last few days, and I saw someone was offering this for sale, and I thought, oh shit, I wonder if it's still available. I couldn't see anyone had claimed it in the messages, so I messaged him. I said, is it still available? And he said it is. One of the reasons is because it's quite a bit more expensive than most of the CDs sold on those groups. Most of the CDs sold are about $5 on average. Sometimes a little bit less, sometimes a little bit more. This was $20. And this is a secondhand CD as well. I decided to get it because, I'll say it when I show it. So, he's packaged it very well. I'll give him that. It is typo negative. Dead Again. Special edition. Well, I don't know if a special edition is the right word. It includes it says there, includes bonus DVD. So, I've never seen this for sale in a shop. I've seen this for sale probably about 10 years ago, but it was just the regular edition, the single CD. I've never seen the one with the bonus DVD for sale in a shop. And so I've been searching, because Typo Negative is a band I like, and I own, what do I own of theirs? I'm trying to look at it, it's right next to me here. I own 2 of their albums, and both of them are new. Here we go. I own October Rust and Life is Killing Me. These are both new. I bought these off Amazon 5-10 years ago. Because you don't find secondhand Typo Negative stuff. It's a pretty niche band, and people who buy their stuff, I guess, are fans of theirs and don't want to sell it. And so you're certainly not coming across it in like charity stores, and even in music stores, new or used, it's hard to find. And so I looked online how much it would cost to buy this new, and I'd have to import it from overseas. I'd order it from an overseas site, and with shipping from overseas, it would cost me close to $50 New Zealand. And that was just for the regular one without the bonus. I couldn't even find the bonus DVD one for sale anywhere. I paid $20 for this plus $7 shipping. So 27 New Zealand for a secondhand CD is pretty much the upper limit. I think $30 is the most I've ever paid for a secondhand CD. But like I said, there's not much choice because you just don't find this new. And like I said, if I was going to buy it new, I'd have to order it from overseas, and it would be double that price. So this was released in 2007 it wasn't Roadrunner, it was their first and only album that was not on Roadrunner. It was on a SPV, Was it Steam Hammer? Can't actually. Yes, it is. I think it's Steam Hammer is the subsidiary of SPV. I think SPV is like a German label, and they've got a bunch of sub labels, subsidiaries, and like there's one that does prog rock and one that does more like gothic symphonic metal, and just the heavy metal one is Steam Hammer. So this came out 3 years before Peter Steele died. And what do we got here? We got, sorry, it's reflecting a little bit there, I know, because it's a kind of shiny, glossy cardboard. We've got the band as skeletons in coffins, which, they're always a bit tongue-in-cheek with this stuff, but also a little bit morbid, having known what happens. Johnny Kelly, drums and vocals. Josh Silver, keyboards. Kenny Hacking on guitars. And, of course, Peter Steele with the vocals and bass. And main songwriter, lyricist. There we have the CD itself. Typo negative, dead again. Written in that kind of faux Cyrillic, Slavic Russian script. And then on this side we have the live DVD. Not exactly sure which. You can find most of their live stuff online. The most famous ones, they did played a couple of years at the Wacken Metal Festival in Germany. I think 2007. There's two ones. There's one where he's wearing a green collared shirt. And there's another one where he's wearing a priest's outfit, or like a vicar, like a pastor or whatever you want to call it, with the collar. And he's absolutely smashed drunk. And he's drinking wine on stage, but you can just see that his eyes and the way he's moving, he looks absolutely hammered, which he was a lot at that time. So, and there's the what do you call it? The subject of the cover art, Grigory Rasputin, or Rasputin. Don't know how to pronounce it exactly correctly, but I guess we usually call him Rasputin in the English-speaking world. You see all the script throughout, all the lyrics is that same Cyrillic, backwards E's and all the rest of it, and kind of funny looking A's. I used to have a shirt. My brother actually worked in Russia for a year or so, and he brought me back a shirt of the football team Dynamo Moscow. There's Dynamo Kiev, Dynamo Moscow. I think there might be another Dynamo, but they pronounce Dynamo. And I remember it had that kind of A looking thing, but it wasn't an A sound because you could see in the position of the word. Anyway, really not that interesting, is it? So I'd say that this is the Typo Negative album that I've listened to the least. Obviously because I didn't own it, but even, I've listened to this stuff for 10, 15 years pretty heavily. Like I listen to them a lot. And out of all their albums that I stream or listen to or listen on YouTube or Spotify or whatever else, this is the one I've listened to the least. I'm not sure exactly why. It's not because I don't like it or anything. I've never really even given it that much of a chance. But they're a band that I want to have all their CDs. I want to own all their CDs. And like I said, it's hard to find them. And when you do find them, they tend to be full price or pretty expensive. But what I have heard on this, I like. The two singles, what was it? September Sun was there another single? I recognise. Dead Again. What was Dead Again a single? No. Tripping a Blind Man, the Prophets of Doom. That's right. Prophets of Doom is the other single. And when I say single, it's not really, single's not really the right word, is it? There is the Tsarinas. And is that Alexei? With the Olga, Anastasia. What are the other girls' names? Olga, Anastasia. there was four or five girls, and the boy. Is that the little boy there, Alexei? Can't tell if it's a boy or a girl. If it's the boy, it's Alexei, who was obviously the heir to the Romanov throne, because they went by, at that time, by male heir. So they Alexandra and Nicholas, the Tsar and Tsarina, had 4 or 5 girls in succession. I can't remember exactly. And then last they had a boy, Alexei. But the problem was Alexei was a hemophiliac and quite ill throughout his whole childhood, and so it was like, because hemophilia kind of runs in a lot of those European royal families because they were so into bread. I think it came from, they trace it back to like Queen Victoria, and then all of those kings and queens throughout Europe at that time, or the Kaiser or the Tsar, or you want to refer to them as, were all, not all, but a lot of them were direct descendants of Queen Victoria, like her grandchildren or nieces and nephews. And so the hemophilia, I think, afflicted quite a few of the offspring. And Rasputin had perhaps, no, whatever, I'm going to say he had some ability, but certainly had the, convinced the Tsarina, Alexandra, that he had the ability to heal her son. And there's a whole, I'm sure you know the story of Rasputin. I think that's here is supposed to be his like autopsy record, where he was stab marks in the back, in the upper back, shoulder, back of the head, the neck, the abdomen, the wrist. Don't know what happened there. Maybe cut off. But it's in Russian, so can't say for sure. So I'm not sure exactly why they kind of used that Russian royal family and Rasputin as the kind of thematic basis of the art of the record. From what I've listened to of the record, it doesn't really feature lyrically. Maybe it does in 1 or 2 songs, I'm not sure. But maybe it's meant to, maybe it's supposed to represent something. Like I said, as an overall theme. Dead Again. I know that Rasputin, when they tried to assassinate him, or when they did assassinate him, it took about 4 or 5 different goes. Like they were drinking together. Then when they put poison in his drink, enough to kill him, and he drank it and he didn't die. So then they shot him and he didn't die, like he was still moving. And then I think maybe they stabbed him and pushed him into a frozen river, or an ice cold river. Probably wasn't frozen, because then wouldn't be able to push him out. And so that kind of added to the myth of this kind of otherworldly weirdo. But apparently a lot of that isn't true. Like, I was listening to a podcast, I actually listened to the Revolutions podcast recently, which was about the Russian Revolution, or at least the last series about the Russian Revolution. And he does an episode on Rasputin and the influence he had on the royal family and his role in their ultimate downfall. And I'm pretty sure he said that a lot of that stuff about how he died was just made up. It was just kind of rumor. He didn't actually go through all that. But anyway, it's not really that important. There it says the bonus DVD down there. It is live at Wacken. Live at Wacken Open Air 2007. Approximately 30 minutes. So got Anesthesia, Christian Woman, Love You to Death, and Kill You Tonight. Plus the music videos of Prophets of Doom and September Sun. And a 15-minute interview. So yeah, this is their last album before he died, like I said. And I never really, while they were a going concern, or while Peter Steele was alive, I never really thought much of Typo Negative. The only song I ever listened to theirs was Black Number One, which I guess is what most people had heard. And I think I also heard their cover of Summer Breeze by Seals and Croft. But I always I was never that interested at all in them and hearing anything of theirs, and I don't think I just wrote them off in my mind as kind of just like, oh, some shitty goth band, and I can't remember exactly what was it that made me start to listen to them more in depth. But I'm pretty sure it was the song Wolf Moon, which is off October Rust, I think. For some reason, I heard that and I really love that song. And then that kind of started off, and I just started listening to everything of theirs. And they became one of my most listened to bands, and a band that I really love, kind of that era. Kind of one of my favorite bands, and I kind of wish that I didn't. I regret that I didn't appreciate them at the time, because I remember when Peter Steele died. I remember on Blabbermouth, because I read Blabbermouth most days. I guess I look at the headlines at Blabbermouth most days, which is, if you don't know, it's a heavy metal, hard rock news website. And when someone dies or someone releases a new album or something happens in that world, they'll have a story about it. And I remember when I was at work one day, I was checking Blabbermouth in 2010, and they said Peter Steele had died. And I knew who he was, and I knew who the band was, but I was just kind of like, didn't think much of it. But now in retrospect, it's kind of, yeah, it was a, he was relatively young. I think he was in his mid, they kind of found fame quite late, like later than a lot of bands. I think they were already in their 30s when they got, when Bloody Kisses was released, I think, and that was like their first big album. I think they were in their mid-ish 30s already. So yeah. Anyway, I didn't kind of go on about them too much. So I'm happy to have this, even though it's $27 for a secondhand CD, and you can see it does have some wear and tear on this cardboard, as is basically impossible to avoid. But overall, it looks pretty good. If it didn't have these white little bits on the spine, on the crease part, then it would look almost brand new. And that is the problem that I have with these cardboard digipack releases. They don't age well, shall we say. Someone left a comment on one of the videos recently how they recommend you can get this, plastic, what do you call it? Plastic covering, like a little sleeve, like that you can put the digipack into, that protects them, which sounds like a good idea. So I'm thinking about that, because it is really a shame. More and more releases nowadays are in that cardboard digipack, and it's just, if you don't take in some sort of precaution, then it's inevitable that it's going to get mushed on the corners. Looking at the ones I have here, Percy Faith, look at that one. Yep. Or where's another one? Sepultura. See, same kind of thing. You cannot, on that kind of top corner on the creased spine part, it's impossible not to. Even that one there, that one's a little bit better. She-Hard, it's a little bit better quality. Maybe it is newer, but still, yes, you can see down there it's still getting munched up. Anyway, so that's something new for the week. Type O negative dead again. See you later.